Hey, it's the Ray Rican with some breaking news that just happened. I'm just gonna just happened today. Well, last night. I'm gonna talk about it now. So here it goes. So the FBI. Actually, I'm gonna use this one first. Let's use this tweet, which I like. Just concises the whole story down. Here it goes. Project Veritas sues the New York Times. The FBI raids O'Keefe's home. The New York Times knows about the raid immediately. FBI steals O'Keefe's reported notes. New York Times publishes what his notes were. So the FBI is leaking O'Keefe's privilege info to the New York Times. So here's this. This is basically, so here you can say this is how it starts. So I guess this is this lady, she's a what does she's an attorney. She's an attorney. She goes, breaking. The federal court has just ordered the DOJ to stop extracting data from our client, journalist James O'Keefe's phone and ordered a hearing. Counsel for Project Veritas asked the court to do this yesterday. So it goes here, the court has reviewed the petition's motions for appointment of a special master dated 10, shall confirm via email that has paused its extraction. So apparently, with this going on, the lawyers responsible for obtaining this court victory for Project Veritas are my colleagues. Stay tuned for more to come in court. So the whole thing. So basically, what was going to go on was the DOJ was going to get an order to stop taking information from O'Keefe and Project Veritas people. So I don't know, I mean, this is basically what, here's the scandal. It goes, this is a scandal. Project Veritas has long occupied a gray area between investigative journalism and political spying, and internal documents obtained by the New York Times revealed the extent to which the group has worked with its lawyers to gauge how far its deceptive reporting practices can go before running afoul of federal laws. The documents, a series of memos written by the group's lawyers, detail ways for Project Veritas sting operations, which typically diverge from standard journalistic practices by employing people who mask their real identities or create fake ones to infiltrate target organizations to avoid breaking federal statutes such as laws against lying to government officials. How else are they going to obtain this information? That's the crazy thing. Here's what Will Chamberlain says, these are classic privileged communications. Project Veritas acts for legal opinion on potential journalistic activities. That opinion is a privileged communications. No idea what Adam Goldman at the New York Times was thinking here. He should be subpoenaed tomorrow and forced to reveal his criminal source. And he goes, I didn't even think about that Project Veritas is currently in litigation with the New York Times. Makes it more appalling that the New York Times would be publishing Veritas privileged communications. Here's also some Cernovich. He goes, he retweeted this here. We see now that there was more at stake. No, I hate when that happens. More at stake than a diary embarrassing a president. How deep does this conspiracy go? So I think back, this kind of reminds me of when Schumer threatened Trump and said that the intelligence community could hurt him in many different ways, which, you know, now we know with this, with the made up Steele dossier, that's what happened with Trump. And here we are now, Project Veritas had the audacity to sue the New York Times, and they got this Ashley Biden diary sent to them. They never published it because they couldn't, what good journalists do, if you can't verify the information, you don't know if it's real, you don't publish it. And so, you know, O'Keefe published a video where he said, this is what he said. And he said he was in contact with the FBI. And then all of a sudden, now they're raiding him. And now the New York Times is getting this. Not only that, when they subpoena, when they got, when the FBI raided journalists and former journalists, the New York Times called him for a comment. So they're obviously, whoever's doing this investigation is leaking to the New York Times. Probably maybe someone that doesn't like what Veritas is doing to the New York Times. And too bad. The New York Times, you know, they're not unbiased anymore. They used to be the paper of record, not anymore. They have a bunch of ideologues now in their paper. So if this guy's not going to give up his source, because this is not a journalistic endeavor, this is political payback. That's what it boils down to. It's the New York Times publishing Project Veritas stuff because Project Veritas is suing them. It's being spiteful. And we'll see what more of the story comes out later today. But I mean, seeing this, I mean, Liz Wheeler from OANN, she's not wrong. I mean, what she talks about here, hello deep state. I mean, it makes you wonder what's going on here. Here's a story from the Liberty Daily. It just talks about the tweets, but it goes here. According to Human Events co-publisher Will Chamberlain, a clear breach of attorney-client privilege was perpetrated by the FBI when the New York Times reported on it with details. They breached privilege as well. What makes it more insidious is that the New York Times is currently involved in a lawsuit with Project Veritas, making this all seem like a deep state sting operation to cover up for their mainstream media cronies. Probably they don't want that privilege and their privilege information to get out to the public. And when you see this here, you have to wonder what's it's kind of, I was listening to Ben Shapiro yesterday, and when he talked about losing faith in these institutions, and that's what's going on here with these institutions like the FBI and the DOJ. When they're targeting political, the political targets. James O'Keefe, that's a political target. You talk about, look at even, let's say, you know, with everything going on with the Rittenhouse trial, that was a political prosecution. When you see, if you see all the evidence and you go, why did they bring this case to trial? Because if they didn't, the mob was going to be angry. I mean, you see the same thing with Eric Adams and Black Lives Matter, where he wants to bring back the anti-crime unit, and he's talking about, you know, that, you know, there's going to be riots, burning to the city is going to burn if they bring back anti-crime units. Do you not see what's been the crime, the way it's been going up in New York? And you're talking about you want to make the city burn for him wanting to keep the city safe. But like I said, politics, political persecution here. You have to look at what they don't like what Project Veritas does, because it's old school journalism. It's that got you journalism. They don't do that anymore. They all these news outlets, they don't report news. They report media releases. You know, the White House releases a media piece and they regurgitate it. Except when Trump was president, because it was like, oh, they release a press release and they go, oh no, these are all lies. But Biden can lie all day, and you don't see the lie meter of Biden. You know, fact checking him saying that his Build Back Better is going to cost zero. Come on, man. But this is the world, this is the country we're living in right now. We're a deeply divided country. And like I said in my last video, it's a bunch of people who can't stand this country. They say they do, but they don't. And but there's plenty of us that are willing to fight, plenty of us willing to speak out, because we want we want our children to live in a better world. We don't want our children living in this society that they want to create. That's why they don't understand how, you know, Youngkin could win in Virginia, because we don't want our children growing up in this. This smells of um, you know, communist Cuba and in China, where, you know, the owner of Alibaba, he disappeared because he said something that the government didn't like. Came back a different person because they put him into the gulag, and it's like, nope, can't get away with that. You may be rich, but you have to toe the party line. And if you don't toe the party line, that's what Project Veritas is learning right now. And it's sad because they're destroying this great country with these actions. You're destroying people's faith in the justice system, because they're seeing, you know, they're seeing that you're just political hacks. That's it. And you know, I don't know what justice James O'Keefe is going to get after this. I mean, it'd be nice if a judge goes, well, if the New York Times is going to pull this off, because who knows? The New York Times may have, you know, since the FBI, you know, have all their computers, they could have they could have privileged documents that were for the case against the New York Times. And now the New York Times has it. So if, you know, the judge that ordered the stay on depositions, they should reverse that order. Project Veritas should go tomorrow to court and go, look what New York Times did. Look at their unethical practices. They talk about our unethical practices, but look at theirs. And because it'll be nice to for them to have to get subpoenas. I mean, to do depositions against those reporters and find out what's going on inside there. Having to produce emails and notes and all that stuff, just so like that they could see what goes on there in the New York Times and how much collusion the New York Times has with like the FBI and the DOJ and members of the Democratic Party. It'd be nice for that to come out. It'd be sad that that paper would then would go bankrupt, because well, I shouldn't say that, because you know what? It's tribalism. Because if, you know, the tribal left, they're not going to care. They'll be fine with it. They'll be fine with it, even though the paper lied to them, fed them propaganda. They'll be okay with it. But anyways, happy Friday. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And I'll leave it there. You could, if you like my videos, please like and subscribe. Leave me comments. You can follow me on YouTube and Rumble. If you're watching on one, please also subscribe to the other one. And interact with me social media: Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, and Clout Hub, and I'm on all of them. Like I said, have a good weekend, everyone.